what are some of the major trends that you saw when you were looking at data for this report?
I looked at the top performing posts of all of the women, and then as a whole, but then individually as well. And then I looked at all of their lowest performing posts, each of them. And I looked at also and by performance, I just want to be clear that it's weighted likes to comment ratio 1-to-1, because if we just looked at top posts, top liked posts, it would all be Kylie because she has so many more followers than everyone else. But and then I also looked at their brands. So I looked at 818, Skims, Pooch, and Good American. And I looked at kind of the activity of those brands to see, did it match the women? But I didn't really include that too much in the piece. I just wanted to look at it.
And what were some of the trends among the posts that were performing particularly well across all of the women that you looked at?
The top posts of the women are all posts about each other or other people, and they're not about them. And especially for Chris, the biggest thing I was really surprised by was, I have this one slide in the piece. It's like 1 to 20 on the top posts of all of them, and it's like all Kris Jenner. And I was like, that's really crazy because she has the least amount of followers. And I looked at her posts, and of course, one of the biggest things is the kids. So since 2015, we really did see a shift in like their kids and them, sharing their kids and sharing their personal lives. Like that is one of the biggest things, is that, their family life and how they interact with each other, their husbands, especially with Kylie and Travis Scott and then Tristan. And all of it was really around like big family moments. So one of them's pregnant, one of them being married, when Tristan's mom died, like everything was really following the journey of life. And I was very surprised by the fact that they weren't necessarily nude or showing their butt or, like all these things that you think would be the top performing. But yeah.
You mentioned the word authenticity in the piece.
Mm-hmm.
You said, look, that's something that people are kind of looking for, and that's why maybe some of these posts are doing well. And I thought it was interesting because authenticity is not what I think of when I think of that family necessarily, because they're performing,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're a family of performers.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
clearly it's working. So what are sort of the elements of authenticity? It's one of those things that, you think you know it when you see it, right? But what is being authentic?
Yeah, I put authentic in quotes just because I do think it's a little contrived. But, at the end of the day, a lot of relationships on social media are very transactional, and it's very hard to see what's authentic. What does this person want? What, am I feeding the beast? But as far as authenticity goes, that's a great question. I kind of think about it in context of like our human capacity, basically like our taste, right? It's a human capacity that we have where there's an element of surprise there, of like, oh, I like this and I don't exactly understand why. It's because there's this surprise of, I wouldn't expect this of them. I wouldn't expect them, this wouldn't be the expectation of what you would think that they would post. And one of the things, like, obviously is interesting is that, like, in authenticity online, it is about feelings, but it's also like showcasing the actual people and like their actual feelings going into, you can't force perceived relevance. Even though they're the most followed, they don't exactly shove it in your face and say, we're so followed, we're so famous, and like we're the best, so you need to buy our stuff. It's like, I went through this horrible thing, now I have this, and I'm so grateful for this. And like that's more their kind of like trained to authenticity. And the thing is always like the surprise, right? It's like, oh, like Kim's dating Pete Davidson, right? Like it's that's surprising, right? Like that feels authentic because it's like you wouldn't expect it, and you wouldn't expect her to talk about it because none of the other women that dated him really had a TV show to talk about it. So Yeah, I think it's like talking about your feelings and like giving yourself room to change your mind. I think when people think they post on social, they think that it's just locked in there forever and they're never going to be able to change their mind or admit they were wrong. But actually, I think people who admit that they were wrong and show their learnings on social media perform a lot better.
I think this ties into my next question, which is about another word you said, which was storytelling. You
Yes.
mentioned that the family is great at storytelling, and I so agree. They're able to create a narrative and they stick to it and they draw in their audience. But I wonder, how do you thread that sort of line? Like, how do you walk that line between creating a narrative and oversharing?
But I do think their storytelling in particular is around life moments, and the bigger call to action, in the storytelling realm is for brands to understand that the people that work for them and the people that are running their accounts are people, and they have stories, and they should be able to share those stories. That's what people want to see. They want to see, they want to know, they want to, I mean, like, look at Vanderpump Rules. It's like they're featuring all these people that work in this restaurant. It's like that a little bit.
And that adds to the authenticity angle, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
great. So that brings me to my next question, which is, what are some tips? What I mean, I'm sure you've got so many things that people could do, or do you have anything sort of like quick and dirty sort of tips that wannabe influencers or small business owners could use
Hmm.
to get some social engagement? Probably not like a Kardashian, but just to up their
Yeah,
social engagement.
totally. So, one thing is obviously consistently posting and managing kind of like a content calendar in the same way you would, you're a great example. News is a great example. The other thing, I wrote a big piece on how to grow TikTok. And what I'll say is this is for TikTok specifically, one of the things to really pay attention to is trending sounds and being able to activate around these trending sounds. So one thing I put in that piece is if you're looking at TikToks, you're trying to decide which TikTok, to make, look at the sound, look at how many videos are made and try to get a sound that's around 12,000, 10,000 videos made, because you're betting that sound is going to hit 100,000 videos made and your video is going to be at the top. And one other thing you can look at when you're looking at what type of posts are being made with this sound is like, are people using their animals? Are people doing food stuff? Are people working out to it? Are, like, is this a very easy, repeatable thing? So that's one on TikTok. On Instagram, what I would say is, you can see with the Kardashians, they used to in 2015, and this is before Instagram carousels was a thing, but they used to just post in a more individual posts. Now all their posts are carousels because you're trying to get people to spend longer on your posts so that Instagram serves it to more people. Do I think this is how the universe should work? Absolutely not. But if you're trying to hook, it's the same, like if you're trying to hook someone, to kind of follow the through line of the carousel. That's one. And then also, like, look at this chart. It's like Kim has how many millions of followers, and so does Chloe and all these people, but they probably feel like they're not growing enough and not doing enough because look at Kylie. Someone always has more followers than you, and someone always has better engagement than you. You just have to focus on, like, the people that you currently have. Are they happy? One of the things is creating connection among the people that follow you. You are a vessel and an opportunity to bring people together on the internet around topics that you care about. So people are following you because they want to talk. They don't want to, be like sold to. They want to meet people and talk to each other or learn something, or, be helpful or be valued in some way. And if you can think of different ways to do that, then with the tools that we're given, I think that is also a great way. I'll give an example. So for Girl, the account, this is back in 2019, there's a lot of teen girls, and I noticed they were really, really sad. And I wanted to bring them together. I had 7 million followers. Like, the handle is Girl. I was like, anyone that gets tagged on this account is like they're like, oh my gosh, I love you for tagging me. I was like, that's weird because whatever. So I did this series called Secret Admirers where I took this old kind of format of Secret Admirers where girls would send me their crush's handle, and they would send a message, and then I would post the message and tag the person and then not tell them who sent it. And imagine like you're 13, 14, and this account is like telling you like how amazing, how dreamy you are, like someone likes you. It's like, that is the type of thing. It is about like, creating a safe space where these like magic serendipitous moments can happen, and they don't need to be super scalable. It just needs to hit home even to one or two people. Then you really have something.
I love that. And I love that idea that you did. Oh, that's so cool. Oh,
Okay,
that's so
good.
amazing. I love that. I love it. But I have one final question. Has Kris
Yes.
Jenner been in yet to get some help?
No, and I would love to absolutely. I could take all their accounts, and I mean, with their following, if you look, it's like it's so crazy because the fact that just Kylie alone has more likes than 1.5 people on this planet is insane to me.